I know that you have no problem with chasing after that person. Hi guys, how are you? I hope you guys been having a great week. And if by the time you're watching this, it's already next week. I do have weekly content, but can I just be real with you guys? Can I just be honest? I don't know why, but I just started doubting my creative abilities or just the idea of whether or not like I should keep making videos and stuff. And I think I love that all of my videos are timely for me anyway, and I hope and I make it with the hopes that it's timely for you guys, because every week when I make a video or I'm gonna do something, I usually try to ask myself, like, how would this help my audience? Like, how would it help you guys the same way that it's helping me if I talk about it, not just talk about it just because, like, you know, it's something cool to talk about. And actually, I asked my friends on Instagram and I said, hey, do you guys like the concept of storytelling or just me sitting down and talking? And most of you said both, which I like too, depending on the video I'm making or the topic that I'm talking about. I think sometimes it's more suitable to do a storytelling, which I'm just starting to get into. I'm like doing videography 101. And sometimes, depending on what I'm talking about, sitting down and just talking like face to face with you guys, I feel like it's more personable or relatable. But like I said, depending on the content I'll be making for that week, you'll either see me switch from storytelling or just sitting down. I love the ability to do both, so I don't want to just stick to one. And I hope you guys would be patient with me as I make the transition to figure out what I'll do with each type of video I'll be putting out. But without further ado, the reason why this video is this week and not this week of Sunday, which I'm recording, is because since on Monday, I tried to sit down on Monday to like, what do I want to talk about? And I just kept wanting to talk about this topic of, did I chase you? I said that to myself. It came to my mind, like, did I chase who? And then I kept saying to myself, did I chase you? Who? You. What I'm gonna be talking about today, or what I want to talk about this week, is, did I chase you? It's more of a self-reflection question, and by the end we're gonna unravel, but the question of did I chase you left me all week. And this whole idea of like, what are we chasing, or what am I chasing? And you know, after I just came from church and I was listening to the message, and it was about praise and worship, but I don't know how they connected, that I've realized that I want to talk about, am I chasing me? Because oftentimes what we usually like to chase is a bag, right? I'm chasing a bag, I'm chasing my dream, I'm chasing a title or opportunities. Sometimes we chase attention, sometimes we chase people, and the one that I've struggled with is chasing approval. I'm still a recovering people pleaser, okay? I'm a recovering people pleaser, and usually when I would want to do something, or like I have an idea or a thought or a way I want to go, I need everybody and their mama's approval before I do it. Just, you know, like, I won't, the thing about it is that, like, I won't ask for approval. I'm like, hey, let me know if you're okay with that. I'll just keep talking about the idea and see what people's reaction is, whether they're like, oh yeah, I like that, oh my gosh, you should totally do that. And I'm like, okay, so that means it's a good idea. But you know, last year I did a lot of self-learning and self-discovery about myself, which is not about myself, just in life in general. Like, honey, you don't need anybody's approval to do anything you want to do. And whether like it's just something you're testing out, or you don't know if you're gonna do it for sure, like, nobody needs to put an okay on it for you to do it, except God. Because when you try to do God's mission without his provision, that makes it very hard. Ooh, mission without provision. Yeah, trying to chase after people's approval is something that I know I'm guilty of. And it's not really being guilty about it, but what I want to talk about today is, are you chasing you? Marie, like, are you chasing you? And what does chasing you mean? Chasing you to me means that I know that you have no problem with chasing after that person. You have no problem with putting in the efforts, even the blood, sweat, and tears sometimes, and chasing your dreams. And I'm not saying those things don't matter. You should chase the things that are important to you. And if you're at a point in your life right now, you're like, okay, for me to reach the place that I want to be in my life, I need to go hard in chasing this and putting effort in my talent. And those are not a bad thing to do. But how many times do we forget to chase us? At the end of the day, when you think about it, you're chasing people, you're chasing approval, you're chasing attraction and all of that. But when that is all said and done, the one person, when everything is all said and done, that you are left with 24/7, 7 days a week, right, is yourself. You wake up with yourself. You go to sleep with yourself. If somebody leaves you, you're left with yourself. If that business plan doesn't work out, you still have yourself to deal with. If that relationship did not work out, you're left with yourself. And I know it was hard for me when one thing in my life, or one phase of my life, ended. I needed to chase after the next thing right away that would fill that void of what left me empty. So when that relationship ended, okay, so who's next? Who's gonna give me the time and the attention that I need now? And I would just be on a continuous chase and sprinting and running after the things of this world that really didn't fill me up. And then when those things for the day, maybe for the night or for the month, ran out, I'm left empty and sitting alone with myself, and I can't even talk to myself. I can't even think to myself because I'm so defeated and I'm so tired chasing after everything else. But I didn't take time for myself to check in on myself and say, hey Marie, like, how are you? You should talk to yourself. You are always thinking and you are always talking. And if you're not talking to yourself, we have a problem, because you should be your own best friend. You should be the first person that you prioritize. It's a reminder to myself that, you know, if I've, within this year and these past couple weeks, I put so many things first, I put so many priorities first in the past that left me so depleted, and I didn't know what was wrong. It left me like in a state where somebody else would come along, and it would be a good person, or a next opportunity would come along. If an opportunity came along, because of the mindset that I had of chasing after things and opportunities and not putting myself first, as soon as that opportunity came, my next thought was like, okay, how is this opportunity going to end? How am I gonna leave this situation? I was never present in the moment of whatever was happening to me, or if it's a person. Because I struggle with abandonment issues, I self-sabotage that relationship, even if they were a good person, because all I'm thinking about is how am I gonna make this person stay? And you can really never make anybody stay in your life. Some people are supposed to be in your life for a season, and thank God we have long life friends that are in partners that are gonna be in our lives for a long time. But my next thought when somebody came in my life was like, okay, so how are they gonna leave? And just the idea of me, right, being stuck in the idea of always needing to chase after something, chase after someone, never allowed me to enjoy the actual moment, or the actual season, or the actual journey that I'm going through at that moment. So how do we stop chasing? Okay, cool, Marie, I hear you, okay. And so then how do I chase me, right, is the question. Well, I think for me, what I've realized is that in order for me to start chasing me, the person that I see myself becoming, the person that I know that I am on the inside, that is worthy of being put first, that is worthy of feeling loved and being responsible for my own emotional state of mind. Because at the end of the day, your friend, your best friend, your parents, you know, nobody's responsible for how you feel. Nobody is responsible for your emotions. You're the person that's going to be responsible for that. So I think there's a couple things that we need to consider to stop chasing for a season so that we can chase ourselves. And the first one would be to stop chasing happiness. I've always said this, but I never really understood the meaning of what I was saying. Happiness is fleeting, right? Happiness is always changing, because I could be happy right now, I'm happy, and then somebody cuts me off while I'm driving, and then I'm mad, or like I see a post online or something didn't go my way, and that happiness is gone. So chasing happiness, or I just want to be happy, when am I ever going to be truly happy in life? You're going to be happy when you stop chasing happiness. What I think is key is joy. Joy is internal. And if you want to call it happiness, then let's call it internal happiness, right? When we stop trying to be happy in the physical world, okay, and start being happy in the internal world, in our spiritual world, by spending time with ourselves, by spending time with God. Hello, conviction over here. By spending time with God, it doesn't mean that there are gonna be certain things that's gonna happen in your life. Things are gonna happen which you will be sad, you'll lose somebody, something won't work out the way that you planned it to be, somebody will leave you, somebody will hurt you, because you can't control your external, why is that word so hard to say? Your external world. Okay, you can't control that. But once it starts in here and the inside, once you know who you are and the joy that comes from within, even though the circumstances around you aren't exactly how they're supposed to be, you can still have joy. I was listening to the song, and we were worshiping in church, and it was like, I still have joy in chaos. I have peace that makes no sense. The first thing is, when you're rooted in your relationship with God, with Jesus, and yourself, nothing around you can shake you. Things may be shaking around you. The world may be shaking around you and telling you what to think and how to be happy. Have this to be happy. You make 6 figures to be happy. Be in a 5-year relationship to be happy. Oh, you want to be happy? Well, get under somebody else if somebody else's leave you. Those are worldly things in which your happiness does not come from. Happiness starts within. And I know it's something that you probably hear often, but it's truly true. I remember it was sometimes in the worst moments or the worst seasons of my life that I would actually have to spend time with myself to not lose my sanity, and everything around me, even though it wasn't the way I wanted it to be, I still had joy. And I was able to then externally see that, even though things weren't playing out the way I wanted it to. And eventually it did. And those circumstances changed for the better for me. And I talked about this one, so I'm going to briefly touch on it. We need to stop seeking validation. Validate yourself. There was a story, I'm going all in the Bible today. Okay, hallelujah. So David, we all know David, whether you're a Christian, you're not a Christian, I'm sure you've heard of David. It's even in rap songs. What rap song was that? I gotta, if I find it, I'll play it, or like I'll put the song somewhere. It's even in rap songs with the David, right? He slayed Goliath, and he's this big hero in the Bible. So there was even a point where David went out for battle, and when he came back, his enemies, they went into their village and they took all their wives and children. And when he came back, he was so mad about all of this. It says in the passage that David encouraged himself in the Lord. David did not run to his best friend and say that, yo, I need you to tell me that I'm somebody right now. He did not run to social media or any outside sources to encourage himself or validate who he was. David already knew who he was, and it's in this context of what we're talking about now. Chasing you looks like being able to stop chasing others people's validation and validating yourself. You are important, you are worthy, and you are a human being. You're not a human doing. You don't always need to consistently be doing something in order to feel validated or that you're important. And if you have somebody in your life that makes you feel like it's only when you do something for them that they love you or show you attention, then those people, you might want to reconsider what their intentions are in your life and closing out that relationship. I'm not saying drop anybody, but maybe removing yourself slowly from that space, because you need to be the one that validates yourself sometimes. Sometimes you're not going to get the validation that you need from your partner. Sometimes you're not going to get the validation that you need from your job, or you might be doing all the right things, but no one is seeing that. So you need to look at yourself in the mirror. I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, you are amazing. You are awesome. You are beautiful. You are attractive. You are a king's child. That is who you are. And I forget that. I have to remind myself that every day, because on a weekly basis I'll forget it. Within an hour I'll forget it, but I set an alarm on my phone to affirm myself and pray and remind myself that I'm that person. It's not being like cocky or like I don't want to look like, I'm being egotistic. No, because chasing validation from other things, or your title or your status, or how many followers that you have, or who's saying that you're the best, leaves you up to them. Why would you want the essence of your happiness, the essence of your worthiness to be in the hands of other people? It's in the hands of somebody who loves you very, very much and is not ever changing. No matter what you don't do, no matter what you do, it will never change. God loves you. I'm gonna say this again, okay? God loves you unconditionally. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to be anybody. He made you. He already knew who you were, and he found that you were fearfully and wonderfully made. He made you in his image, and you are exactly who you need to be at this moment, ever changing till the death of you. as emo as that sounds. But yes, happiness, validation, and the other one is normalcy, right? Chasing normalcy. And this is a big one for me. Not chasing normal means that nothing is ever gonna be normal. When the question of when will things go back to normal, it will never go back to normal. Okay, let me be the bearer of bad news. I know you can say Marie said that, because it's true. Like, nothing in life is normal. My normal is not normal to you, and your normal is not normal to me. Nothing in this life will ever be normal, and that's okay, because things are ever changing, and what was good for you in one season may not be good for you in your next season, and that's okay. Not chasing normal looks like being adaptable to you, not what other people say that you need to change into, not what other people call normal. Like, for example, like some people, they like to pray in the morning, right? They like to have their devotionals in the morning. But that might not work out for you. So what's normal for you is having your devotion at night. Well, whatever that is, you can put the context in however way you want, but stop chasing normal, because guess what? You're not normal, okay? We're all weird in our own way, and God made us different. I love saying that God did not make you on an assembly line, okay? You're not a carbon copy of anybody. You are unique, and what's normal for you is normal for you. And I felt that at one point, like, oh my gosh, maybe I won't ever find people like, who are gonna stick by me because of the way that I changed so much. But no, once you are okay with, with yourself, first of all, then you start attracting other people who are understanding, who knows that you are a human and you're going to change, and you're gonna love you and accept you through those stages of change, right? The difference between normal and consistency, because there's some things in your life that will remain consistent, and that's okay. But trying to normalize something, I feel like only makes it more weird. Does that make sense? So let me know if that makes sense to you guys, because it makes sense in my head, but me trying to say it, sometimes it doesn't come out that way. And then the last one is very important for me: chasing closure. We need to stop chasing closure. Somebody said to me one time, Marie, the best closure is no closure. And wow, that hit hard, because I'm the type of person, I'm a deep thinker. Like, I'm thinking all the time, and if somebody does something to me or I see something, I want to know why. I want to know the why behind the why, And that's like, that can drive you crazy, and that can leave you feeling like you have no closure, right? So then you chase after closure. Or I'm trying to get closure from this relationship. I'm trying to get closure from this loss. But sometimes the reality of that situation is that the best closure is no closure. Let's be personal, bro, right? I'm gonna give you an example. I was in a relationship, and the way that that relationship ended was bad, okay? It was a toxic relationship. I was toxic, they were toxic as well. And the way that we broke up was so abrupt. There were so many unanswered questions, there were so many unanswered things that happened in our relationship, and I felt like I needed closure. So you guys are gonna think I'm weird. So like, I would stalk their social media, to see what they're doing. I would like think about driving by their house and just knocking and be like, hey, let's talk. Or just, have the urge to message them, to meet again, just to, talk about what happened or why our relationship. Who effing cares? Okay, we do not curse in this platform, but I'm just saying the emphasis on it. Like, if somebody hurted you, you do not owe them, okay, your friendship. You do not owe them a conversation. If you decide that that's it, the best closure for me, the best way I can get over this is to get you out of my life, block you, delete you, bury you the way that I have to, even if I have to. You know what I did? It was the craziest thing. So it was like a year later, and I was still thinking, like, I had to heal. I didn't want to heal, and I didn't know how hard I was hurting. But when I take that time to heal, I was like, you know what? Okay, for me to get over this, we went on a tree one day and we carved our like names and put a heart around it. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I had no car. I came from work, and I was like, I took an Uber. I went to that tree, okay? And it started like, it was a clear day, and then it started storming. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm still going anyway. I got out and I went under the tree, and I scratched our names. I threw out everything, and I just said my goodbye to that person, to that relationship, to that past, even though I didn't have all the answers that I wanted to or thought I needed to have. And after I did that, literally just started pouring, and I'm like, what the heck? Honestly, on the spiritual side of things, I think that was just, the closing of that burden that I had on my heart for so long. But yeah, you don't need to chase closure for anything. And I know sometimes things hurt. I'm not trying to be insensitive, like, like you might say, like, oh, you don't know what they did to me, or you don't understand. No, I get it, and you're probably right. I don't understand. Like, we don't all go through the same situations. But chasing you, right, is what we're talking about. Putting you first. And if putting you first is putting up that boundary and saying that, no, I have to live with myself 24/7. And I need to be in a state of mind where I've realized that I'm more important than you. Okay, I'm more important than an answer. I'm more important than putting myself in a situation that will only leave me hurting again. Okay, so those are the, 4 things, right? The first one being happiness, validation, normal, and closure. I'm sure there are way more, but I will be talking for way too long. I don't want to just leave you guys like on a bad note. So the last thing I'll talk about is, so what happens when you're chasing you, right? What does that look like? What happens when you're chasing you? And I would say that looks like doing your next, finding your next step of chasing you. We are all in a different stage of our journey, of our story, right? So what my next is may not be the next thing for you. But instead of chasing like after everything that the world wants us to chase, what does that look like for you? And maybe it's spending time with yourself, like going away, turning off your phone, going to the beach, or like, since we live in Florida, there's no mountain, going to a park and, turning off all of the noise and distraction, spending time with yourself. Like, what am I chasing after? Where did I lose you? This is a question to yourself. Where did I lose you, Marie? Have I been chasing you? Or have I ran away from you and saying that I'll come back after I have this, I'll come back after I'm rich, I'll come back after, I'll find myself once I'm in a relationship? No, if you don't know yourself now, you lose yourself in a relationship. Yeah. So sitting down this week and reflecting on what does chasing me look like for me? Do I need to spend time with myself? Have I been spending time with God, connecting to your soul? Connecting to your soul and checking in on you is what I would encourage you to do. So I'm so glad I got to the end of this, because all week I promise you guys I was asking, I had the idea in mind, but I'm like, what is that? But I'm so like this came at a timely moment for me, and I hope that, you know, what the things I said in here was resonated with you guys in some way, shape, or form. And I know it will, because I speak from the heart, guys. Like, I know that we're all on a journey. Okay, the book of Marie is the book of Marie. What you see in my life, right? It may not be exactly what's going on in your life, but you know, how many times do you read a book and it has nothing to do maybe with you, but you read it and it resonated with you and you see something in there that helps you. So that's my heart behind this channel, guys. And I hope that we start chasing after this. Like, let's make a commitment. You know, we have our New Year's resolution to chase after this, lose weight, do down. That's cool. Okay, let's put us first this year. Okay, it's a year of freedom. We're 23 and we're free. We're gonna be free from the responsibility of chasing. Okay, so it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I hope this video helped you guys in some way, shape, or form. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay in the loop of all of the things that are happening in this channel. And I hope you guys have a great week, and until the next chapter. Mwah.